Death Star, man.
Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
So here we are, ramping up for Star Wars Celebration, and I'm just sitting here like, I ain't going. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
Well, I was doing okay until you reminded me I wasn't going.
Yeah, but this one really hurts me, man. I've been to the last two.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I should have went.
Yep.
I
There was a lot of uncertainty leading up to it, right? I mean,
kind of. Like when tickets initially went on sale, there really wasn't a lot going on yet.
right.
And they sold out fast. And like, I was like up in the air. Am I going to go? Am I not going to go? So, yeah.
Yep.
I should have just went.
Here we are.
Well, should have just got the tickets.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, California's so far.
That's the other problem.
The other two I could drive to if I wanted to.
Exactly.
Funny thing is, I drove to the one in Orlando and I flew to the one in Chicago. It makes no sense.
You're right. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
except for this. Chicago traffic sucks way more.
There is that. Yes.
Like, I didn't have too many. It wasn't too stressful driving around Orlando.
No.
Chicago, on the other hand, I would have lost my friggin' mind.
Yes. Orlando's not that bad.
But anywho, guests are starting to be announced. And of course, it's the first round, so there's no surprises here. I mean, I guess maybe one.
Okay.
Even though he's attended the last two. Ian McDiarmid's still a shock.
Oh, nice.
Still like, wow, he just jumped back in, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Like, he had never done any conventions and stuff like that over the years, and then all of a sudden he's just like every Star Wars Celebration he's there.
Right.
But the others, yeah, these are no surprises. Ashley Eckstein,
Of course.
David Collins looks like he's going to be stage hosting again, which is fabulous. He's
Excellent.
such a good host.
Yeah.
Amy Ratcliffe is going to stage host. Doug Chang is going to be there. Steve Sansweet's going to be there. I guess this one's a little surprising. Anthony Daniels is going to be there.
I was going to... why is that surprising?
Oh, yeah, that was sarcasm.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I mean, that guy's at everything.
Exactly.
Like, hey, man, they're having a Star Wars day down at the 7-Eleven. He's like, I'm there.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's good. Man, I really wish I was going.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and they even put tickets back on sale. I don't know if they've sold back out already, like, probably. But I know they had put tickets back on sale again. Probably for all the people that requested refunds, because who knew when it was going to happen?
Right.
Sure, a lot of people bought them back, like, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, it's exciting, though, because Celebration's coming up, which means we're going to hear something new.
Absolutely. That is for sure. There's going to be something. There's always something at Celebrations. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would anticipate so it's in May, right?
Yeah.
I have the date right here. Yeah, May 26th through the 29th. So Obi-Wan's already going to be running, but I would expect to see a trailer for something. Probably Mandalorian Season 3. That would be my guess. I'd expect some kind of video game reveal, maybe a Fallen Order 2 or a new Battlefront, because people are really clamoring for that all of a sudden.
Right.
Or one of these projects that are breaching out from EA. Yeah. I gotta say, though, this is probably the first Celebration in quite a while that I'm like, you're probably not going to see anything for a film.
Yeah. Yeah, but
if we do, wow, they're good at keeping secrets.
Yeah. I don't know if they're that good.
They're not that good.
Right. What I was going to say, though, is that a lot of these projects, like, I bet we're going to see something for Andor.
Oh, that's a good guess.
You know, I mean, that seems to be like the sleeper right now. Like, you know, not a whole lot of buzz about it, but I got a feeling it's going to be really good when it comes out.
Well, it wrapped before Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the sleeper. We got no dates. I wouldn't be surprised to see some Bad Batch, and this
True.
And they were talking about another animated series, right? That Kevin Kiner was talking about.
Yes.
He was really making it sound like something new. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's definitely enough going on for Celebration to be super exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing I don't want to be there for is like, there's so many good behind the scenes things that could be going on right now. So those panels are going to be fabulous. I really hope they live stream some of those.
Oh God, yeah.
Because if there's anything Celebration, I loved a Celebration more than anything is like the behind the scenes panels, the panels that went into this production or that production, or David Collins does some of those music panels.
Right.
There's tons of good stuff coming there. I would not be surprised to see a Mandalorian music panel with David Collins. Be fabulous.
Wow.
So
that'd be good.
Ironically, he hasn't touched it yet. So wonder why that is. So
Well.
yeah, Celebration coming up. Guests
Awesome.
are being announced. Time to get excited. All right. Revisiting last week. That was a horrible transition.
It was, but you know, it got the job done.
Yeah, I meant to give that a little more space to breathe.
Yeah.
Anywho, revisiting last week. So it's it's Michael Stackpole, right?
Right.
We were talking about this tweet about
From someone.
he revealed he was in contact with Patty Jenkins, blah blah blah.
This was a tweet from somebody who attended GalaxyCon or whatever it was, and
Right.
you know, it's yeah. Yes, that she was in contact with him early on about, you know, production and this and that, and you know, I think I said, why wouldn't you be? But then, you know, you had a point.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you made a point, right?
I did.
Which go ahead and reiterate so that we had context, you know.
Like, why? Just read the damn books.
Right. Exactly. Excellent point. So, because basically, when you really think about it, you're right that you know, anything that Michael Stackpole's got to say about, you know, Rogue Squadron would be in these books. So, yeah. So
Yeah, it's not like he didn't write down hundreds of pages of stuff.
exactly. So,
Not only that, you don't have to call him back like, hey, what did you say?
yeah, exactly.
You can just highlight pages.
Right. Exactly. So in order to set the record straight, he was a guest on the Around the Galaxy cast, and here's what he had to say.
I did not say to this person at GalaxyCon
Mm-hmm.
anything that I have not been saying since the film was announced,
Right.
and not including anything that is not public knowledge.
Right.
What I found is when I'm talking to people talking to people about it, there are a lot of people that still don't know. I mean, I can tell people, by the way, I don't know if you know, but Patty Jenkins is going to be doing Rogue Squadron. Half the people I talk to go, really? There's going to be a movie?
Right. Well, that's true.
You're a Star Wars fan? Come on. You know, and I know the tweet said, you know, that she had consulted with me.
Right.
No.
That's not the reason for the delay. It's not you're too busy to talk to her. That's not.
No.
I'm kidding.
What? And like she needs to talk to me. Holy crap! You know, I mean, you know, I think she knows her way around a film. This is just
Probably. Yeah.
So, you know, and so it's again, in things that she has said about the story publicly, she has been very nice in name checking me and referring to the books. And I, you know, I can't thank her enough for doing that. But, you know, as of this point, I know only as much as you guys know. And I still will be first guy at the theater to to go see it.
So there we have it. Straight from the man's mouth. Basically, we covered that tweet last week, and how he had some sort of unwarranted collaboration there, and now we know that was mistaken. So since we covered it, we needed to set the record straight.
Much like him, right? Like
exactly.
But it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. Like,
right.
One, she's covering a different era of Rogue Squadron, right? This is supposed to be the next generation of Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
I really don't want to say it like that.
How do you want to say it?
A new generation of Rogue Squadron.
Okay.
Yeah, saying it the other way makes it sound like another franchise.
Oh, yeah. No, now I get it.
So why would you have to reach out to an author who was handling certain characters? Like, I could understand if she was doing that Rogue Squadron, right? The Rogue Squadron that he wrote. Reaching out to him to get his mindset on characters and personalities and things like that. Maybe a little more in-depth than what you might be able to discern from the pages.
Right.
But being a new generation, you just need to get the gist, the attitude, like, what is Rogue Squadron? You can get that by just reading a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's absurd to think that these directors and writers and things like that are so lazy that they're just going to call someone to say, hey, what were you going for with this, instead of just looking at the source material that's already there. They're not that lazy. They're gonna dig. They're gonna read.
That's their job, right? I mean,
right. So yeah, it didn't make sense to me.
Right. Well, I guess now we know, right? It's that's the way it was. Like, you had it right to begin with, basically. She I mean, seriously.
This is good because I'm wrong so often.
I'd say we all are, Joe. That's
yeah, I think me more than most, though. So
come on.
Feels that way, at least.
Wow.
I should say this, at least lately.
Really?
Yeah, because lately I've been like, how'd it feel to be right again, Doug?
Come on now. Oh, jeez.
No, you can go back a couple episodes. I say those exact words.
Aha.
Yeah, just go listen to the entire Book of Boba Fett season coverage.
Uh-huh.
I say that a lot. And I was wrong again. Doug was right.
I don't know about that, but
well, apparently you need to go listen.
Well, maybe.
But I mean, we established it beforehand, right? I hate Boba Fett. I hate Star Wars.
That's right.
Of course I was going to get that wrong.
Exactly.
It's like I didn't pay attention to the 3 minutes of screen time that he had.
That's right. A lot of lore there.
Tons. Yeah. So much material. All right. Oh, where do we want to go? Here we go. All right. So, what should be the first Star Wars movie that you show someone new to Star Wars?
Yeah.
Well,
going here. All right.
Yeah. Why not? Let's get crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, this was a question posed to a couple writers for StarWars.com, Megan Krause and Carlos Miranda, right? Mm-hmm. And so this isn't a list of, what order should they be watched in or anything like that. This is just what should be the introduction, the first film. And I have to say, I agree with one pick here. I disagree with another, and there's other options. So Carlos says, for every reason that you would imagine, A New Hope, right? it's the first one. It's everybody's launching point basically for the longest time. And, it's a, how does he put it? It's a easy introduction into the franchise, right? Things are a lot less complicated at this point, because they had to be. It was the first movie. So,
right.
It just makes sense, and then the films could be watched.
No.
Go ahead.
I think Carlos makes a lot of really good points here, and even lays it out. He's not just being traditionalist. He's not just being
right.
Saying, "Oh, this is where you should start because OT, baby," right? Like,
right.
No, he makes a lot of really good points. One, I think one thing he doesn't mention that I would mention is take into consideration this film was shot in 1977, right?
Yeah.
If you watch all these other ones with all these, crazy special effects, things like that first, you're going to feel like these films are out of place for someone new, right?
Sure.
It's going to feel out of place. You're not going to see the growth of the franchise. You're going to be like, wow, these seem boring because they're so bland and not flashy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but you can definitely see the growth in technology, but Star Wars, cutting edge as it was for its time, it can be a little lackluster in that aspect, going back and looking at it. But, for me, I've said it a million times, Star Wars is always about story, right? But this is
right.
Where,
that's why I say avoid the distraction, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you show the other ones first with all the CGI and all the special effects, you go to this, that becomes a distraction. When it's really about the story. If you watch these, you get immersed in the story right away.
Absolutely.
You don't have all the flashy craziness. It's story. Now when you go to all the flashy craziness, you're still story focused.
Yes.
So it's all about where you put your focal point when you start.
Yes.
And wherever you circle that focal point, that's where you're going to stay for the rest of the duration.
Yeah, makes sense.
That would be the one point I would add.
Yeah, I like it. So,
all right, well, Megan's take,
yes. Here we go. She says jumping off point would be The Force Awakens.
All right, so I don't have to be a jerk through this whole thing.
Okay.
I'll make an overarching statement.
Okay, go ahead.
It seems like her points for why to watch The Force Awakens first is the perfect points to watch A New Hope first.
Okay. Now, that being said, without getting into the details of what you mean, I think everyone's kind of got a little bit of a grasp of what you mean. There are a lot of people who feel like The Force Awakens was just a retread of A New Hope, So in that respect, I would say, okay, I get it. But with this, you're basically getting introduced to all of these, and I don't want to say new characters, but all these characters who, the main focus is on their story, which comes after all this other stuff. And I get the whole, we started in the middle thing, but there's a lot of story that you would have to go back to really understand everything, all the little nuances that were going on in this, Yeah.
And, I guess one thing that's missing in context here.
Yeah.
Is like they're making the case that these are the entry points, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not saying where you should go from here.
True.
They're not saying your entry point should be The Force Awakens and then you watch the sequel trilogy, or watch A New Hope and then watch the original trilogy. They're not making that case. They're just saying you should start with this film or that film. And I will say, like, she does say it's nearly impossible not to recommend the original trilogy,
Right.
which is true. I think, like I said, a lot of it's just, for me, reasons of, like, look, you're going to see a lot of different things throughout the course of these trilogies. I think watching the original ones first doesn't distract you as much as if you were to start somewhere else.
Right.
The only better way to do that for me would be to start with The Phantom Menace.
Yes. That was
just watch the story chronologically.
That was my other on ramp right there. Because if you watch it chronologically and include Rogue One, you know, I mean, that takes you right into even the look and feel of Rogue One. It's flawless to go right into A New Hope, you know. And some of the visual effects are going to be lackluster, but you'll be able to follow it, you know, just as easily. I mean, you're going to get the whole Anakin story arc, you know, start to finish. So, and then Luke carrying on from there. But I feel like there's some sort of fear that because the movie doesn't look as good as modern movies, that's what's going to keep you from appreciating A New Hope. It's like if you're going into it for the story, you know, and that's what it's all about. For me, the OT is where it's at. The prequel trilogy, also good. If you want to watch the latest and greatest trilogy, as far as technology,
keep in mind,
go ahead.
Keep in mind, we're living in the era where, you know, we're living in the Marvel era.
True.
Flashy is what it's about. Like the distractions there, it's pre-programmed.
In a lot of ways, that's scary.
It is, though. I mean, not even just saying Marvel. Like Marvel's the easy one to pick on because it's the most popular.
True.
Right? But we are in that flashy era. Watch Transformers. Tell me how much of the story you can pick up watching Transformers with how crazy they go.
Right.
It's all visual anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to watch the stripped down versions first. And they're not stripped down. They're just, that's the way it was for the time.
Yeah.
But it makes the story the focal point.
Absolutely. That's the thing about Star Wars is it made you think, you know, it made you, it made you put yourself into Luke's shoes. You know, so many people feel that way. And it's like, if I were in this situation, how would I react? What would I do? You know, it's that sort of thing, you know?
Right.
I feel like, I don't know. If you were to start this franchise from The Force Awakens, I shouldn't say it this way, but I would almost feel like, okay, watch the sequel trilogy then and look forward to what's coming in the future. I mean, I don't know. Cause it's a continuation of what was covered in episodes 1 through 6. But if you started at episode 7, it could start its own thing from there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm a huge proponent. If you're looking to enter a franchise, any franchise, and watch it from scratch, I'm a huge proponent of release order.
Yeah. There's a reason why the filmmakers put it out that way. Yeah.
There's a reason why it became beloved.
Right.
Right. There's something to the way that it all unfolded to where people love it.
Oh, absolutely.
There's just something to that. I don't know that Star Wars would have had the same love if it was released in chronological order, right? Like, probably, but do we know for sure? Do we know that people wouldn't have checked out because of this or that? You know, like it's
right.
It's tough to say. We don't know,
because the one thing about episode 1, okay, going back to episode 1, was everybody knew this kid was going to end up being Darth Vader. That was a big driving force behind seeing the whole prequel trilogy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like if nobody knew who Anakin Skywalker was, right? All of a sudden episode 1 is released. Maybe after you got through Revenge of the Sith and everyone realized this story arc was like a big deal, maybe then everyone would go back and check it out. But I have a feeling because we had the original trilogy, some people that might have gone and saw episode 1 would have been, maybe I'll check out episode 2, maybe not. You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about it. Like you see the original trilogy first. You're like, okay, Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. Ends up, fathering Luke. You have all this context, and then you see this innocent kid.
Right.
You automatically go, wait a second, I got to see how the hell did this innocent kid become that guy?
Exactly.
Like, if you start from the beginning, you just see this kid.
Right.
You don't know what he becomes. If that's your starting point, you don't know what he becomes.
And I gotta say, this gets as granular as the movie posters, right? Episode 1 had a movie poster with Anakin standing there with his shadow being cast as Vader.
Yeah, but let's say that's the first film. What the hell does that mean?
You have no context for it. Exactly.
Right. That's a weird shadow.
Yep. So, I think we're going to be in agreement then. A New Hope.
Yeah, I think A New Hope. I like I said, I'm a huge proponent of release order.
Right.
Especially when a franchise is structured like Star Wars. Like even when they did, the prequel trilogy, they left all this all these questions for like what happened before that.
Right.
I mean, that's why they're exploring the High Republic right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's just all this. There's always this open-ended stuff that's happening in Star Wars, and that's what makes this story so fun. It's because we get to just speculate and go crazy, and then when they finally release something, it's okay. Let's compare my notes, right? Like, where was I? Like,
absolutely.
What did I think, and where'd it go? It's a lot of fun that way.
Yep.
And I mean, I feel the same way with the Marvel franchise. Like, I just finished watching the Marvel franchise all the way through, and I gotta say, I'm happy I did it in release order, because I looked at chronological order and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Like the way things were teased, like the teases for the rest of it would have seemed out of place if you would have watched it in chronological order.
Right.
Because they were teasing stuff like Ant-Man, right? Even though Ant-Man falls before this, they actually teased it later on. So that tease just seems awkward and out of place.
Exactly.
So if you watch it in chronological order, it just gets weird.
Yep.
Those little moments that were meant to tease the greater story just feel awkward. Point blank.
Yeah.
Like
I would say this though. I would say this for sure, that no matter where you start someone off into Star Wars, just start them off into Star Wars. If you have to do some explaining, because of where they jump in, just help them along and get them to know and love the story, because I'm sure in the end they will. So,
well, let me throw one more thing out there, just about this starting with The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Is her opinion a little diluted because she may have seen the original trilogy first? Because, okay, let's just look at her Kylo Ren. She makes the comment that his character is a commentary on how the previous generation affected the next one. That's true. But as he's sitting there talking to a Vader helmet,
right.
do you feel do you feel like you would be inclined to go, oh wow, what is that? Or are you just confused?
I would say it depends on the person, but I think
I
you would
understand.
have a split. Some people would be curious, and others would be like, "What the heck is going on here?" Yeah,
I think The Force Awakens has too many hits on the original trilogy, right?
Yeah.
To be a viable launching pad.
right.
You know, there's like I said, Kylo Ren talking to the Vader helmet. You got Han Solo.
You have Han Solo coming back onto the Millennium Falcon. Chewie, we're
Right.
home. That holds zero weight without the original trilogy. You know what I mean?
Right. And then not only that, wait, you're Han Solo. This is the Millennium Falcon. So Rey's like
Yeah.
hitting on that. And
All
then you
of
got
that.
Luke Skywalker. I thought he was a myth. Like, you're just hitting too many things. It's like,
Yes.
I think you're just reaching at that point.
Yeah.
Like, if that's your starting point, you're confused.
Right.
You're like, why is that important? I don't know that that's gonna like feed people's curiosity to go, oh, I gotta watch that other stuff. They're gonna be like, this movie sucks. Like, all they're doing is talking about stuff that happened before it, like making me go watch something else.
Right.
Like, I feel like that would be the way people would feel. Like, you're making me go watch something else to make this movie good.
Yeah.
I guess if your only goal is to get people interested in watching everything that came before it, yeah, Force Awakens is probably pretty good.
But on the other hand, you know, in order for everything in The Force Awakens to make sense, all the other stuff that came before is kind of like required viewing. So,
And then one more comment about A New Hope and making its case is A New Hope is the only film in the Star Wars saga that was meant to be a complete movie.
yes,
Meant to not have to carry on.
right. No, you're
The
absolutely
only
right.
one.
Because even after Empire Strikes Back, you had to have a Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
I mean, it didn't make. I mean, you know, if that was the end, what, the good guys lose? You know, no. You know, you had to come back and complete that at that point. Yes.
I mean, the Empire Strikes Back is the greatest movie in film history. People would disagree with us, but yeah, you needed the bookends
Yes.
to make Empire Strikes Back the film that it is.
Right.
Without those bookends, without A New Hope, without Return of the Jedi, I'm sorry, that's just not the film that you think it is.
Right. And even films that are good on their own, right? Rogue One, it's a great movie, but you have to have the context of the original trilogy for it to make sense at the end.
But I would argue that Rogue One is a better jumping off point than The Force Awakens.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a what would you call it? You know, an appetizer.
Yeah, it really stands alone until the end.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, really. Yeah,
You can watch that and be like, wait, the Empire is building some kind of super weapon? Like,
yeah,
you don't need the context of the Death Star and stuff like that to enjoy the way that film leads off.
right,
When it gets to the end, you're like, wait, what's all that?
right.
So I feel like Rogue One would be an even better argument for starting Star Wars than The Force Awakens.
I'd have to agree.
Like I said, the Force Awakens just did so much work to try and echo the past.
It's funny now that you say that, because you say A New Hope is the only one that's like could stand on its own, but
No, I got to stand corrected. Rogue One could stand on its own.
yeah, but what I'm getting at is that with Rogue One and A New Hope, that could be just like a duology on their own between the two.
In all honesty, you could cut the two movies together.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you could sit and watch those two movies and everything makes sense.
Yes. the way they did Rogue One is they tried to mimic the era.
Right.
They didn't try and mimic the story.
Hell, they used footage from A New Hope, in the fight sequences. So, yeah.
Almost all the X-Wing stuff, right?
Right.
Like, yeah, so I got to stand, but still, Rogue One wasn't intended to be a standalone movie by itself. No other films ever coming out to fill the gaps.
Right.
Rogue One was a gap filler.
Yeah.
A New Hope was designed in a way that if this never goes anywhere,
yes,
if this is the only film I ever make of Star Wars, it's a complete movie.
Yep.
You got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the end doesn't necessarily have to carry over to a sequel.
Right.
You had a happy ending. That the throne room scene.
Yep.
That's the end of a movie.
It's
You don't watch that and go, "Oh, I can't wait for the next movie." They won.
Exactly.
Empire Strikes Back happens. It's like, all right, this ain't over. You can do that with every other film in the saga. It's not over.
Interesting. Right.
Yeah, interesting. Good stuff. I gotta say, I like their points and what they put out there just because it fed the conversation, right?
Yeah. It makes us think.
Really got the classic discussion going.
Right. Exactly.
This was a classic Star Wars discussion. I love this, and I'm glad they did that.
Right.
All right. Donald Glover.
Yes. He I guess I don't know. Some people are calling this like a confirmation or something, or what was it? December of 2020, Kathleen Kennedy on stage says there's going to be a Lando show. So everyone's speculating, is it going to be Billy D? Is it going to be Donald Glover? I think we all kind of knew it was going to be Donald Glover, but Donald Glover comes on to Jimmy Kimmel, and I guess this is a confirmation.
And you're working on a new Lando project for Disney Plus right now.
Am I?
No.
I just telling all my business.
I made that up to see what was going on, but
quick to the point.
At first I was like, wow, this is light, right? Like,
yeah,
this is your confirmation. And then I listened to it again.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, you're telling all my business. I'm like, wait a second.
Exactly. So yeah.
Did he just confirm that?
I think he did a little bit, but I mean,
definitely did a little bit.
I mean, really, to do a Lando series, I think we've talked about this before. They could do it with both Billy D and Donald Glover, where Billy D's reminiscing back to what it had happened or whatever. But I think we were fairly certain that Donald Glover was going to be doing the heavy lifting in the show. I'm
convinced that Billy D is not going to have a role to play at all.
Right.
I have a feeling if they do a Lando show, it's going to be Donald Glover.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like they're going to let this guy go. Let's be honest. His portrayal of Lando in Solo is a definite highlight in that film.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I hate to even go there, but this goes right back to a lot of the stuff that we saw in The Empire Strikes Back, right? What are you doing with my ship? Oh, I won her fair and square and all that kind of stuff. We got to see all that. So all of that stuff, I think, helped along the building of the character and everything. I mean.
Oh, for sure. For sure. But at the same time, I feel like that's the character that we walked away from Solo going, oh yeah, they nailed that one. Like, I feel like they did Lando better than they did Han. And it's not a fault of acting.
Exactly.
Right? It's not a fault of acting. It's a fault of writing.
Yeah, totally.
And I shouldn't say a fault of writing. Like, they just wrote Lando better. I just feel like they may have bit off a little more than they could chew. Like,
yeah,
I mean, that's the best way to put it, right?
yeah, for sure. There's something to that for sure. Yes.
I mean, that's been the overarching theme, is they bit off more than they could chew. Like, we're gonna do a Star Wars film. Was it every other year?
Right, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
then
yeah, and
this one shows up like 4 months after another one leaves theaters. Like,
yeah,
less than.
Yeah.
So they just went too hard. Like,
they did do that. Yes.
they found the right guy to play Lando, to play a young Lando.
Right.
And Lando's character has been more recently used, so I just feel like the writing went smoother. There was more recent content. They had a lot of advantages. Han Solo's been on the shelf. You get recent reference material like the Clone Wars, and it's like, or Rebels, right? Rebels, not the Clone Wars. So you get that recent reference material, and it's like, oh, you got a little bit of Lando to fill the gap. You got a jumping off point. Han Solo before A New Hope, untouched. So, yeah. Bottom line, though, if they're doing it, it's probably him. And this was a loose confirmation.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a fun interview.
Oh, the whole interview, I recommend everybody go watch that whole interview.
Right.
I like Donald Glover. I really do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it was like, there were quite a few times though when he was talking about stuff. I'm like, man, Doug's gonna love this one, because he's like talking about like what it's like with kids.
Oh yeah.
I was like, this is like one of Doug's favorite things to bring up. I'm like, he's got to be loving this right now.
It's so true. It's all true. It's
Doug's over to like, it's true.
Exactly. All of it. Yes.
The kids, the delays, everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
All right. But yeah, that was a good interview. Go watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Rosario Dawson. I got to go back into jerk mode.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I call you jerk mode, but okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, guys. Like, so there was a tweet sent to Rosario Dawson. Like, so they said, I'm just going to say it. If Rosario Dawson was not geeking out before, during, and after this moment in Star Wars history, she will cease to be one of my favorite actresses in this business. And it was, her working with Mark Hamill.
Right.
Standing next to Luke Skywalker. Look, I get the sentiment.
Right.
But, sorry, man. This is a real jackass thing to say. Like, if her acting is not the reason why you like her, and geeking out has to be the reason why you like her, that's just, I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. Now, her response was good.
Her response was fabulous.
Yes.
She handled it well. She said, "Are you kidding? I was freaking out. I'm still pinching myself that I got to work with Mark Hamill as Ahsoka. I didn't know my scene was with Luke until the day of." So great response.
Yes.
I still feel like she didn't have to make it.
No, I agree with you. And to counter what this person was saying, there are plenty of actors in Star Wars, right? Harrison Ford, ring a bell, right? Who, it's not about this great actor from Star Wars, it's about, hey, it's a job. I'm gonna go in and do my job.
I was gonna say, like, let's put it the way Harrison Ford would say. Doesn't give a shit.
Yes, exactly.
He's getting paid.
Right. Yes. And in all his interviews and everything, gave kudos to all the people that he worked with and all that. But the fact that they were an actor in Star Wars, He could care less about that, you know, which is kind of the vibe I'm getting from this, right? You know, it's
But I mean, if this is your criteria, that a professional has to geek out about working with someone else in the business,
yeah,
I'm like, man, that's harsh.
right? Because in a lot of ways, you're almost hoping that they be less professional about their job, really.
Right. Like, I just like, and saying that, like, let's be honest here. You see this, and then the response from Rosario, you almost feel like Rosario's just saying it now so she doesn't get hated.
You could look at it that way. I think she's being genuine.
What do you say to that?
But,
what do you say to that? Like, I didn't think about it. I was just doing a job.
well, if you're Harrison Ford, you say that.
Right. If you're Harrison Ford, but you're Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
You're part of that original crew. You're OG.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about saying that.
That is true.
Harrison Ford doesn't have to worry about saying that. Rosario Dawson apparently does.
To be fair,
and
she has got, a well-established career of her own, you know.
I understand, but no one's ever going to make this tweet about Harrison Ford because Harrison Ford, like I said, is OG. He's part of the original group. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I just feel like, these people are doing a job. They're professionals. Yeah. They shouldn't be freaking out. I mean, you can freak out a little bit, if there's like the person who does what you do is like the best at it ever. Okay. Maybe a little bit, but not, I don't know.
I just think this is a really bad way to look at it.
Yeah.
Like, everybody that works in Star Wars has to be this uber Star Wars fan going in and is going to geek out if they get to work with Mark Hamill and things like that. I think that's no.
Yeah.
Stop it. If they do their job well and they play their character well and they sell it, they're immersed.
Yep. We're going to get the
We
story.
shouldn't give a damn about how they felt about working with Mark Hamill.
Exactly. That's the point. Yes.
Like, if she's a good Ahsoka, she's a good Ahsoka. You shouldn't discredit it because she didn't go, oh my God, it's Mark Hamill.
Exactly.
That's just, we got to stop that.
Right. And yes. Go ahead.
It's always been a thing. Like, we want, it's just like with your college football team, right? Like,
right.
We're here in Michigan. Everybody's always talking about the next coach needs to be a Michigan man. And I'm like, why? If they're a good coach, who gives a damn?
Right.
Like, it's the same thing. Like, if they're a good actor and they portray their character well and they sell the story and they get immersed. All I care about Rosario Dawson doing as playing Ahsoka is I watch Rosario Dawson and I see Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I don't care if she liked the fact that she got to work with Mark Hamill. She could come out and say, like, I didn't like Mark Hamill. I thought he was a dick. Like, I'd be fine with it if she was a good Ahsoka.
Exactly. She was a good Ahsoka, interacted well, acting, and we got the story across that they were trying to get across. I mean, that's the point.
That's the point.
And I think, honestly, this person was fishing for a comment like this, and this was kind of almost a backhanded way of doing that, So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a backhanded way to do it, but like the comment, she will cease to be one of my favorite actresses in the business. That was like, damn.
Right.
If she was one of your favorite actresses in the business, the fact that she didn't geek out by working with Mark Hamill discredits everything you loved of hers to begin with.
Then their criteria is flawed.
But like, yeah, why does not geeking out, not geeking out for a moment, discredit everything that you apparently loved before that?
Right.
You either loved it or you didn't. This like, if you didn't do this in this moment, you are no longer my favorite.
Right.
What?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, why were you liking it before? Just saying. Just saying.
Yep.
If it's fishing for a comment, okay. But wow, we're really reaching for this.
Yeah.
Really reaching now.
I got a feeling that's all it was.
Oh, probably. All right. All right. So for this next topic, I got to be honest, Doug. I have it written down. You told me about it. I have no idea what I'm bringing up here.
Oh, okay. We're doing this.
So, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So, Shadow of the Sith. You had me write this down.
Right. So, this is an upcoming book. Hold on. I want to see if I can get this here. It is.
Oh, you're not even.
No. It's Star Wars Shadow of the Sith, by Adam Christopher, and they put an excerpt up on StarWars.com, and I would like to bring up this one portion of this excerpt, right? Because I feel like it could warrant a little conversation. Just, I don't know. You'll see what I mean. But just to give us a little jump off point here, this is about Luke and Lando going after Ochi and all that whole Rise of Skywalker bit that we were kind of like told about. And there's Holocron, Wayfinder, blah 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 blah. Eventually Luke ends up on Exegol. Okay? And he is battling these 9 wraiths. Okay?
What is this, Lord of the Rings?
Oh, it's I don't know. But he's in the middle of this battle. Okay? And that's where I want to pick this up from. So, this and that happened, whatever. He got to this point, and here we are. He's battling these wraiths on Exegol. And it goes, and that was when a new light appeared. Not the white flash of lightning or the wraith blades as they were lit by the unholy light. Not the green glow of Luke's lightsaber illuminating the ashy ground like a green flashlight. No, this light was pale blue. It shimmered in the air, streaking a little it swept down, throwing the attackers off in one smooth movement. It was a lightsaber, the blade blue and strong. The hilt was transparent, nothing but a blue glow, held in a transparent blue hand. Luke fell backward onto his elbows and gasped at the pain in his joints, and also in sheer surprise at the sight before him. Standing between himself and the wraiths was another figure, a man in flowing, pale robes, his back to Luke, his head hidden under a voluminous hood. The entire figure glowed like soft electricity, bright in this world of endless night. When the lightning flashed, Luke could see the 9 solid wraiths through the form of the man who stood between them and their quarry. Luke's mind raced as he tried to identify the spirit of the Force who had arrived to protect him. Ben? Yes? No, it wasn't Ben. The robe, the man's form, was... The spectral being lifted his lightsaber, holding it high above his head, the blade parallel to the ground. For the first time, the race seemed to take note of their enemy. They backed away, 9 forms huddling together, blades lowered. They were screaming from their blank, bandaged faces, although Luke wasn't sure whether it was a real sound or just an echo inside his head. It was hard to concentrate on what he was seeing. The way the Force reverberated around the figure in blue, his entire vision seemed to buckle around him. The race continued to back away, and then they vanished, their shadow shapes evaporating into dust that spun away on the last eddy of the dying wind. For a moment, all was still. Then the blue figure turned around, his lightsaber extinguished. Luke pushed himself up onto his elbows. He blinked. It couldn't be. It couldn't be. The blue figure lifted his hood back to reveal the strong, sharp face of a young man, his gaze intense beneath a furrowed brow that was bisected by a straight vertical scar. His thick hair was shoulder length and had a slight wave to it. Anakin Skywalker reached out his hand. Luke took it, and everything went white.
What?
Yes. So. Okay. My first thought was this. We have a precedent set from...
Luke is not allowed to be awesome.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Thank you. But the Luke was told,
like,
when you face
Rey
Vader,
should have showed up to ask
help
Luke
you.
to train him.
What's that?
Or train her. Rey should have showed up to ask Luke for training, and he should have been like, no, go talk to Anakin. Go talk to Obi-Wan. They won't leave me the hell alone.
Right. I just, so when Luke went to face Vader, Ben said, I can't help you. So unless this is some sort of a fever dream that Luke's having, how is it that Anakin can swoop in and help him now? I mean, we're talking with lightsaber. I mean, using the Force. Okay, using the Force across these.
Well, the ring
planes.
race are apparently nothing for a Force ghost.
The what's that?
The ring race are apparently nothing for a Force ghost.
Right. I just.
I don't know. Like, it
was. I don't know. Unless we don't have all this context, which clearly we don't, but
we don't. This is an excerpt.
It is. I just felt like, huh. There's some things that need to be answered. So, I'm going to be interested to check this book out because I want to know the whole story behind what we're hearing here. And yes, there was a part of me that did feel exactly like what you said. Luke is not allowed to be awesome. That's for sure.
Like, okay, here's the thing. Like, you need Luke to be this Jedi Master.
Yeah.
But he's not allowed to train anyone.
Right.
He's not allowed to have any cool achievements. It's all help. Luke had nothing but help.
Right.
Why?
It's a good question. It's a really good question.
And then here's my other question. The Rise of Skywalker was meant to be the end of the Skywalker saga. Here we are again.
Oh, well, yeah. This is one of those books that, fills in gaps, right?
Does it?
Well, I think that's its intent.
It's not fair. It's not fair. We haven't read the whole book. It's just an excerpt.
Yes.
But,
and
man, what the hell is that?
I'm sure that this was done on purpose, right? This is the excerpt, and this is what the reaction they're looking to get out of us. But,
yeah, because they know we're going to go, what the hell? What the hell did you do to Luke now?
Exactly.
And we're going to go read the book, and we might get done with it going, okay, they let Luke be a badass for
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping for. But, man, that's what I'm hoping for, but so many times I've been disappointed. Yes.
Yeah, unless Dave Filoni's name's on it, it's like...
Right.
So this is a book?
Yeah, it's a book.
You got a release date on it, or?
Oh, that's what I was just getting ready to start trying to look for here. I don't see it just yet. June 28th.
June 28th. Well, that'll be one to check out.
It will definitely be one to check out. I'm curious to see what they do with that, because there's a part of me, I think they put this out there to rile us up, and they got me riled up. That's and I wanted to talk about it. So yeah.
Well, I mean, if they were gonna do a fight to where Force Ghosts could participate in a corporeal way, The Rise of Skywalker was the perfect place.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, Luke caught the lightsaber, right? So that was something that...
Yeah, that was the most corporeal thing we've seen out of a Force Ghost.
Yes, the most, yes. It's not the only, but the most, yes. Alec Guinness said on a log, right?
Fake that, though.
Yeah. But, and then Luke used the Force to lift the X-Wing out of the water. But then Yoda used the Force to conjure up some lightning and burn a tree. So, it's...
Yeah, but, I mean... Is conjuring up lightning a corporeal action?
Well, it happened in the living plane,
Right. But, would it be more weird if a ghost makes lightning strike somewhere, or if a ghost, calls something to their hand, physical,
right,
to their hand, and then hands it to you?
Right.
What's okay, yeah, that was interacting with a person.
Yeah, exactly.
The lightning, not so much. I mean, the fact that they're calling down lightning almost makes you think that, but yeah, they're probably in a spirit world.
The spirit world. Yeah. I get what you're saying. And we've talked about this, right? This whole, what a Force Ghost can do has been built on throughout the movies, but
actually engaging in combat,
yeah, the part that got me about that was Obi-Wan telling Luke, you face Vader, I can't help you,
right. I mean, maybe the game's changed. Anakin, who had no training in this stuff, is better at it.
Right. Yeah, there's that too.
And then here's the other question. Why is it that Anakin?
I don't understand what you mean.
The Anakin, the long hair.
Yeah.
The scar on the face.
That's the one that showed up in Return of the Jedi, though.
The corrected version.
Yes. George made that move. I can't fault the writer for that.
I can a little bit.
Nice. Here's what got me a little bit though, right?
I'll tell you why
you're missing all of your limbs, but you still got the scar on the face. So I don't.
Right. Here's the other thing, right? Why does Obi-Wan come back as old Ben?
Right.
Why does Yoda be old Yoda? Anakin's nah, I'm going to be younger.
Exactly. Yes.
Why? Is this because this is the part he was good?
It's the midichlorian count, man. It's off the charts.
Did it get diminished when he lost all his limbs or something?
I don't know.
Is that how midichlorians work?
I don't know.
If you lose some hands and a leg and yeah, your midichlorians went down. You lost some limbs.
Right.
Doubt it.
That's what I'm saying. He's got a lot, so he was able to make himself younger.
That is one decision that I was yeah, I don't like this one. Never liked that one. Why does he get to be young?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not so sure
the
about
other
this.
decisions, bringing in Ian McDiarmid, for the Emperor, and was it The Empire Strikes Back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, redoing that, yes.
Redoing that made a lot more sense because it made it consistent.
Right.
Lee McDiarmid was literally the Emperor everywhere else.
Yes.
So that made sense. This one,
Yeah.
I feel like it should have been an older Anakin, but whatever. Because here we are. Clone Wars Anakin comes in to save Luke.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we got.
I'll tell you this much. This is what I gather from this. Count Dooku would have whooped Luke's ass.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because if you can't fight some ring wraiths,
Ring race.
they said the 9 wraiths. I'm like, come on. Wraiths. You had to use that word?
Well, you know,
Were they force sensitive?
I'm not sure. But that wasn't the important part to me.
There's a lot of stuff. I have a lot of questions.
Right.
Oh. All right, so I do have something I want to address.
Okay.
Before we get out of here. I want to apologize.
Uh-oh.
Well, I've been a little behind as of late in getting the show out on time.
Ah, I see.
So I want to address that. I want to apologize. I'm caught up now. So everything going forward should be back on, a somewhat normal release schedule. I'm not going to make any solid promises, but I just want to address that. I know I've been lacking, but we should be back on track. We should be back on track. We should be back to normal.
Excellent.
Aside from that, if you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media, @thewarsandmore on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore, @thewarsandmore on Instagram. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. We will talk next week.